award, of course.
As anybody would feel winning an award. Great.
So let me ask you a bit of a critical question and try to understand what are the healthcare challenges as of now facing in India and in the world, of course, since you operate out of the US also. What are the
well, healthcare challenges, I'll address them from 2 points, 2 perspectives. From a healthcare perspective and from a manufacturer's perspective, because they obviously meet. From a manufacturer's perspective, I don't have to tell you that the biggest issue right now is supply chain. There's a tremendous increase in the cost of raw materials, and from a customer perspective, there's a tremendous pressure to reduce their cost, which is essentially our prices. So when both of them meet, profitability is going down, and we're going back to a scenario where we were, at least in the US, we were about 10 years back, where people were making no money because of all the consolidation. People are getting out of the market. So, but over the last 3 years, although there's been a scenario like this, there's been more, especially Indian players, coming to the US market and the regulated market. We just have to wait and see what happens. But supply chain right now is the biggest issue we're facing.
Do you see these issues kind of easing up as we go along?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, it will at some point. But what is that some point? I don't know. If you had asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have said it would have eased out by now. But we're far from it being eased out, to a point where some of our supply chain heads were in China recently, and they said that the Chinese there are in such a crunch that one, they're liquidating product at cost price, which is not good, but the Chinese are liquidating at cost price, and two, they want to exit the market themselves. If the Chinese exit the market and India is going to take some time to come back to that level of supply, though there's going to be a major disruption in the world for pharmaceutical products.
So what is the danger when it comes to, let's understand from the consumer perspective, what are the
lack of products, lack of medicines, lack of affordable healthcare, which is going to be a huge issue. Now it's not going to happen now, but if companies don't step up right now and build some sustainable measures with longevity built into it to address these issues right now, I think there's going to be a huge issue going forward.
So how are your company or companies like yours helping address these issues? Are you able to do that by any chance?
Yeah. Actually, it's a great point, because that's exactly what we at Granules have started to address with a new venture that we have embarked on. It's based on sustainability. So our goal is to essentially decarbonize, make our company carbon neutral by a certain point. We still yet to set targets, but we want to build our company around sustainable products, which essentially means that we want to make your basic paracetamol, metformin, ibuprofen, your everyday lifestyle drugs, green. So what that means is you're using natural resources. You're not depending on China. First, we want to make everything in-house to the level we can. It'll be stage wise, but we have to do everything internally at this point. At Granules, we're focusing on a few products which are essential for anybody to sustain a decent lifestyle, and going back in terms of how green we can be and how self-dependent we can be. So decarbonization, making ourselves carbon neutral with a focus on green everything, and not by taking carbon credits necessarily, is the focus that we at Granules are embarking on. Last 1 year we've been focusing on that. We just tied up with a big company in India on green initiatives, Greenco. And going forward, we are going to be fully focusing on that. So the number of products that we work on will go down, but the number of products that we work on with a focus, so tomorrow even a COVID-like situation cannot disrupt us, is going to increase.
So evidently you're working on a lot of things. So what are the challenges? What are you foreseeing to be impediments in your growth?
Impediments in our growth is that we are, and I will give our chairman, who happens to be my dad, the entire credit here, because he truly is a visionary. When we started doing what we did so far in India, with whatever we did, I don't want to spend too much time getting into that, it was a first. And unlike many companies in India, they have zoomed pastas, that's a different story. But in terms of the products that we are focused on, we are the largest. And he's really created a value proposition for basic products like acetaminophen, paracetamol. That's what he's trying to do with this sustainability. He's going back to the drawing board with our entire team. He is focusing on green technology. The impediment here is to what level can we crack it? Can we get, for XYZ product, can we do all stages green? I'm not sure yet. So that's what we're working on. And that is the biggest challenge. If we overcome it, if we are at least able to get to 75% of it, I think it's a huge accomplishment for anybody. And we could potentially be the only company in the world focusing on green medication, which is, I think, a big achievement for any pharmaceutical company.
Right. So what are your challenges? What are your targets for the next year also? Is there any particular number that you're aiming for perhaps?
So we're a public company. I can't give out numbers.
Right.
Absolutely cannot give out numbers. But this year, we look forward to doing a lot of launches. But I would look at medium to long-term growth because we really are re-strategizing as a company. And I think 3 to 5 years, you'll see a real change in what Granules is known for, and people will know that.
Thank you for taking the
Thank
time
you.
out to
Thank
do
you
this.
so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.